office and was really oblivious to what was even going on. And reports started popping up on my phone, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so I texted you, I texted Terry, a couple of people that I'm close with there on post. And I mean, everybody was fine, but so scary, so scary.
Great thing. And, of course, here we are. We're ready for another round. I've got Channel 11 News open, watching the weather, all day long while I'm working.
Yes.
And, we've had a couple of tornado warnings pop up. I think there was one for Yell County, and I can't remember which other county. But just a minute ago, I was watching that line of storms moving across the state, and it looks like maybe it's hitting around the Russellville area right now.
Hello.
Hey,
Hey
good
there,
morning.
Terry.
Good. How are you?
Oh, we're all just ducky.
What kind of, I'm curious about how you guys shelter when you're at work. Basements?
I fled and went home.
Like, see ya.
That was so smart there, Terry.
Bye-bye.
I know they released Camp Robinson. A lot of people released at noon because like Cabot School, they released their kids. So I know they released a lot of folks to go home early, but some didn't. They just sheltered there in place. And Don, do you guys have like a basement that you went to, or they're actual shelters?
Well, here at in the Capitol Mall complex, we've got all these big gray block, Stalinist modern looking buildings that are so attractive.
I think they're pretty.
Oh, no, you don't.
Yes,
a couple of them
I do.
are actually built into the sides of the hills. So nearly every one of these buildings has got at least one floor that is partially below ground level, and that's where we all go. I mean, we were all pretty safe.
Good,
but
good.
What just had me flipping out, we actually had two tornado warnings, the big funnel that came through Little Rock, and then we had about a 10-minute reprieve, and we got a second tornado warning, which amounted to nothing. But I blasted out the information about the second tornado warning, and our director of communications was telling me, oh, we're up there on the rooftop of the Arch Ford building. And they're like, are you crazy? Well, we're not going to our shelters. I thought, I'm not even going to come to your funeral if you get killed.
My husband showed me a video last night that I think we're right at time to get started, but where a gentleman was standing on his front porch recording, and the tornado went right over his house, and he couldn't get inside because like the negative pressure, he couldn't open the door. And so he literally withstood a tornado. So he's filming, and he like pans back towards the door trying to open the door. And when he turns around, this is like a matter of 2 seconds. When he turns back around and is facing the yard, all of his trees are down. I mean, debris flying. It was nuts. I'm like, guys, this is why we stay inside. Like,
exactly.
We stay inside during tornadoes.
Exactly. So my daughter got stuck on days, and I left early so I could go to the daycare to get my granddaughter. And right as I was like half a block away, the sirens went off, and I was like, oh man, because I knew then I wouldn't be able to take her out. So she was in the back and I was in the front, helping the director with parents coming in. And I just let her stay back there unless it was going to hit, because I knew if I went back there, she would panic more. So I just let her stay strong back there, and I stayed at the door because parents were throwing a fit. I'm taking my child out. And I'm like, no, it's just like with any school and any military installation, anything. We can't let them go with the sirens going off. And I'm like, the tornado is right over there.
Stay, yeah.
People do some crazy stuff.
It was about a half a mile from us. Yeah.
Gosh.
Crazy.
Well, I'm so glad everybody is safe, and I hope that these storms dissipate before they get to you guys today, and that there's no more damage. So guys, I have 10:02, so I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Don, would you mind calling roll for us today?
I would be happy to. Andolyn Wright.
I am present.
Jody Bergstrom.
Present.
Terry Williams,
Present.
Colonel Smith.
He is probably not here. We're having a Team Little Rock meeting
Okay.
today.
No
Or
worries. I
Colonel
think he's not a voting member anyway.
Right.
And folks, Amy has resigned from the council. Belinda has resigned from the council. They were the fourth and fifth members of the committee. So the committee actually is composed of 3 members, and you're all present. So Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
All
But
right.
let me
Great.
ask, I'm seeing
Father, you ain't
Arcan
gonna
and
bother me.
Wendy on our screen. Can I ask who those are?
I am a school counselor, and my superintendent had asked that I just kind of sit in and understand. We have one family in our district that is a military family.
Okay, Wendy, what's your last name, please, ma'am?
Love, Love.
Okay, well, it's very nice to have you with us.
And Wendy, can I ask what school district you're with?
Yes, I am at Danville Public Schools.
Great.
I
Thank you.
attended a meeting, I think in September. I sat in through the meeting. And so I'm just back again.
Okay. Well,
Yay.
welcome.
Thank you, Wendy.
Just capturing that Ms. Love is with us. Okay.
Okay. So does everybody have the agenda in front of them, or Dawn, do you have the ability to share that?
I do. Let me go ahead and throw that up on the screen.
It's pretty short and sweet today.
Okay, is everyone looking at the agenda?
I can see it. Thank you.
Awesome. Just
So after everybody has a chance, if there's a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second.
Thank you, ladies. If there's any discussion, hearing none, we'll go ahead and adopt the agenda as presented. And we're going to go ahead and move right into our new business. So Don had pointed out so graciously to me last week, he's like, hey, we actually haven't had a forum for this school year. Because what happened was what we had discussed last year, we ended up doing our FY22 forums in person. So I know, Terry, and if you could send me that date, Terry, when you had the one at Little Rock Air Force Base, I think it was your 4th of July event.
Yeah.
But I could not find the date. I tried looking that date up and I could not find it in our past minutes or searching the Little Rock Air Force Base website. And then we had the forum, Jody, where you and I had gone in April to Month of the Military Child event at Fort Smith Public Schools. So we actually had 2 really successful in-person forums with great attendance where we were able to connect with a lot of families. And then we had our virtual event scheduled for 12 October of 22, which would have counted towards this school year, and we opted to cancel it. Just previous years, as you guys know, we had very minimal, if any, participation at our virtual forums. So now that we are, post-pandemic and we're able to meet in person again, and we had discussed all of this in the fall, kind of moving back to that. So that leaves us at moving forward for this year. Terry, I know that you have been invited to speak at Fort Smith's event. What is that, 20 April?
20 April, yes, ma'am.
I plan to attend that as well. So we can maybe discuss counting that again, or, whatever you guys feel like you want to do moving forward. But we just have to have an event executed by June, correct, Dawn?
Yes, ma'am, that's right.
Well, if I could, so a couple of things. First off, Liberty Fest was 1 July.
Thank you.
It was from 3 to 10 p.m. And I had a question about that. I was thinking about it when I saw the email come through. Every quarter, we do the Deployed Family Dinner on installation, and it's a 2-hour event. And I always post the ACMC flyers, and like the last couple of events, I have posted the survey as well. Can we count, like, if it's a family event, like the deployed family dinner or something, done as an Andelin as a forum, because I'm handing out the information?
I
So,
would,
Terry,
oh, go ahead. Sorry, Jody, go ahead.
sorry, I'm just piping in here, but I think it would be a cool idea if we make that a little more, Terry, if there's availability for us to come in, like maybe Andelin and I join you on those quarterlies to make it more official, like to have family forum and representation, you know, another from the council. I think that would be kind of cool to do that. I know that you already mentioned it, but those would be great events to attend. And I even was thinking about the Fort Smith one. I would love to come to that with you ladies too on the 20th.
Yes, yes.
If we have extra iPads, maybe we just make a point that we bring 3 or 4 iPads so they're there if anybody wants to do the survey. I mean, just make it a little more official and have something to hand out.
Yeah, I think we could do that, you know, as long as we couldn't go back retroactively and say, well, we did a forum on X date. I think as long as we plan it and announce it in advance, we
Yeah.
can do that, because the statute is completely silent on what format the forum has to take. It can literally be anything that we want to do. So I think, you know, all we've got to do is, you know, the committee votes that that's what we're going to do for the forum. And whatever council members are going to be there to participate, come out there. You know, if we have tablets for people to take a survey on, if we have, you know, we could pre-print just a handy dandy little form that people could fill out, you know, pen and ink, you know, any concerns, any wishes, whatever, for military families that they want to share with us. You know, they wouldn't have to enter contact information, names, whatever, if they're concerned about anonymity.
Like a suggestion
We
box.
could-
I like
Yeah,
that.
we could totally do that and count it as a
I like
forum.
that.
Yeah, because like on the, oh, when was it? I just put it in, 2 nights in March, on the 14th and the 16th, I went to Cabot School District's parent conference night. And I set up a booth and talked to parents, which I only had 2 parents on the 14th and 3 parents on the 16th. But I was there at parent conference night. One night was really bad weather, and the other night, I suggested to them next time, let me do an earlier time, because when you're there from 5 to 6, parents are just ready to go home.
Yeah.
I would rather be there during their daytime conference times, but I did do that. So
That's a good idea.
I mean, we're out there. It's just, you know.
Right.
Do we
Terry,
count-
do you know when's your next quarterly dinner? Do you have that date handy?
Let's see. I think it is June. It is June the. I want to say. Let me flip over. I want to say June 14th.
Okay.
That might be cutting it kind of close. If anything were to come up that caused the event to cancel, and that was the only event that we had planned as a forum, that could leave us without.
Right.
If we
I-
piggyback doing the one at Fort Smith on April the 20th,
Yes.
that would count. But I think the issue we're going to run into there is if anyone points out, and they would be right, that the last 2 forums that we've held focus solely on the Fort Smith area, and we should be doing something in other parts of the state that also have a military population. So, Andelin, here's a suggestion. Let's plan for you and Terry to attend the event there in Fort Smith on the 20th. You're already going to be there anyway. We'll
And I
announce
think
that as a
Jody,
forum.
I think
and
Jody is
Jody's
going to
be
come
there
as
too.
well. Yep.
Same thing for the dinner on June the 14th.
Yep.
Whatever council members can attend for that. And then we might just kind of as a backup do one more. We could do an online event Basically just set up a Zoom link, keep it open for about 3 hours. I'll be on the whole time, and we can have other council members come in whenever works for them. And just during that entire time, any military family member that wants to jump on for a few minutes and discuss concerns or whatever could do so. If we publicize that through the network of DMEX, if we publicize that through the school counselors email list, put it out on a commissioner's memo, if we blast it out there multiple ways, we may have some participation.
Don, I actually really like that idea. It feels very individualized, which is something we have not tried in the past. I'm trying to think also. I'm going to pull up my calendar really quick.
Well, Angela, while you do that, I was just flipping to look at May. I know we're having a kudos event May 13th. So we'll
that's
have
a
about,
Saturday.
yeah, it's a Saturday. We'll have about 150 kids and parents at kudos, Kids Understanding Deployment Operations on May 13th. And of course, I'll have a booth there. So if anybody wanted to join me with some iPads.
Terry, I can hand you some. I'll be in DC that day, or that weekend, but I absolutely can get you some iPads to use.
Okay.
I could probably.
I know the only bad thing about it is it's Mother's Day weekend.
We all go, Where am I?
We have so many things in April. We have 4 exercises in April too, at the installation, and they just could not fit kudos in April. Usually we do it in April, but it just could not be fit in April.
Okay, Annalyn, let's do this. Why don't we? We'll have an in-person forum there in Fort Smith on April the 20th. We'll have an in-person forum. Terry, you said the date's June 14th at the Air Force Base.
Yes, I can confirm that date, but I think it's the 14th.
Okay, if you guys can confirm for sure that date, Terry, the times and the precise locations of those events, and then let's do an online forum. I've got my calendar open and I'm looking at a couple of days when I'm available, that I could be online for like a 3-hour stretch. I've got April 26th. I've got May the 3rd. I could do either one of those dates pretty easily. And then let's schedule.
April 26th, the Wednesday.
There are a couple of Fridays, maybe April the 28th, May the 5th.
I kind of like the 28th with it being the final day of Month of the Military Child.
Okay.
And my calendar is actually nope, that's not true. I'm on leave that week.
What about May the 1st or May the 5th?
May the 5th works for me.
I can make that work as well.
And folks, what we might do, like I say, I'll schedule about a 3-hour block, and I'll plan on being on the whole time. And maybe if we can get council members to sign up also to be online for maybe 30 minutes or something.
What time are you thinking?
We could run it really anytime during the day. I've got that entire day open on May the 5th.
Don, do you want to maybe like 10 to 1 so it covers?
Yeah, we could do that.
11?
10 to 1, 10 to 4, or 10 to 4, 10 to 2, something like that, so that there's plenty of time. It's not an issue for me. I could be on that entire time, and then just, let other council members come and be on for part of that time if they're able to, so that it's not just me talking to the family members. And, family members want to sign in on that. Just hop on for a few minutes and talk. They can stay as long as they want, or they can say their piece and leave. We can take some notes and look for
Yeah.
trends. And then what I can do is all three of those events, the two in-person events and the online event, I can pull together a commissioner's memo pretty quickly. And we can probably get that published within the next couple of days and send that out through several channels. That would give us 3 forums for this school year.
Okay, that would work. Now that is Cinco de Mayo, so if I have a margarita, will it upset you?
I don't think it won't upset me, but I think you should probably not be drinking while you're on duty.
Terry, I'm coming to join you for the forum. We can, ladies, we can have an in-person forum. No, I'm just kidding. I hear
You know, if we have an in-person forum on Cinco de Mayo and we're serving margaritas, we might get a really good response.
I was gonna say, we may.
And by the way, Madam Chair, you know I'm capturing all this for the minutes.
Yes, I'm very confident you are. Thank you.
And, well, I've got, let's see, Terry Williams suggested we get snockered.
Okay, so the
Ms.
last
Love,
question
Ms.
I
Love,
have-
we are joking about this.
Yes.
Oh, I'm fully aware. The funny thing is I have headphones in and there's students in the room and I was like, y'all can't hear this, right?
Oh, no.
I am so sorry. We're gonna have
You're-
tacos. We're gonna have
you're
tacos
fine.
and talk.
You're fine. I have
Tacos
I
and
like
talk.
that.
There you
I have
go.
headphones in.
With red, white, and green tortilla chips.
Yes, it is completely fine. I have headphones in, so they have no idea. I was just giggling and kind of looked over at them. So
Oh goodness. If you can't tell, we work together a lot and we enjoy each other's company. So
Yes,
we like to have a good time.
we've all been on this council for like 4 or 5 years now, I think.
Yes. It'll 4 years this September for Jody and I.
Yep. 4 years in
So-
October for me.
They were right there together.
Hey, y'all know
okay,
this is Arkansas's 10th year of membership in the compact.
Oh, cool. The last question I have, Jody, the survey that we've used in the past, are we okay to continue using that? Does that need any updating? I think it was a Google form.
Yep, it was. And you know what? I can send the link out to everybody again and we can
Okay.
revisit it, and then I'll check to see as far as responses go. But yes, I think that's perfect. I think we just keep using that. But I will send it out just for us all to, double and triple check that it's still good to go.
Okay. That's great. Thank you. Okay, so I think we're set for this school year. Once Terry's able to confirm date and time for June 14th. Let's see, Don, when's our next council meeting?
It is May the 11th.
So do you want to send this out for a special vote for the council to approve? Or are we just going to tell them this is what we're doing?
I don't know that the council needs to approve it.
Okay.
The committee is pretty well charged with running our military family forums for the council. So yeah, I say we just, when you're speaking at the council meeting, you just tell them, hey, this is what we decided to do.
Okay, sounds good. So that's taken care of. So moving on to the next item of new business for FY23, just so we're kind of tracking. I like the idea of the quarterly dinners. I really like what Fort Smith Public Schools, how they host their event during Month of the Military Child. We're able to reach a lot of Army and Air families. And that's something that's kind of always in the back of my mind. The Army National Guard specifically has not quite figured out how to connect with families and community partners and other agencies quite like the Air in Arkansas has. So that's something I'm always thinking about is how do we get in front of Army, National Guard, and Reserve families, of course, Marines and Navy as well. I really feel like and of course with Terry, the Air Force here, that's a pretty easy connection.
You know,
So
Amberlynn, that's an issue nationwide.
right.
The Army does, I think, the poorest job of family care. You know, the Navy and the Air Force have got it pretty well figured out because they're on deployments all the time.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is we have literal thousands deployed out of Arkansas right now attached to the Army National Guard. And it's like, here you go, here's your families you need to call. And that's the extent of their family care. I'm like, why are we not doing deployment events or welcome home events, or because their battle rhythm is really high right now. So it's, anyway, that's something I feel like I'm always trying to attack and always trying to get buy-in. But anyway, so I think moving forward for 23, we kind of keep our ears to the ground of maybe some Army events that are taking place, if any, and try to connect there as well. But I really like the idea of quarterly dinners. I like when schools host events like Fort Smith Public Schools, getting connected there. We're able to reach a lot of families. Do you guys have any other ideas that we could?
Andolyn, you had mentioned Navy and Marines. Something we might try, and they've been kind of the missing piece. You know, we don't have a lot of Navy and Marine Corps in Arkansas.
Right.
And they're all centered there out of Camp Pike. So they would be a relatively easy captive audience if we can get them. What we might do for the next academic year coming up is reach out to the commanders of the Marine Corps unit there and the Naval Operational Support Center there at Camp Pike and see if they have a family day event. And it would be wonderful if they're doing it jointly. But if they're having some kind of a family day event, that we could come out there and they could give us, you know, 20, 30 minutes to talk to the family members about the Interstate Compact, various other organizations that are available to them, the school liaison program that operates out of the Air Force Base, but which serves statewide, various other organizations that can help them out that they may not know about, and then have a forum where families can come and talk to council members about what's on their minds. So if y'all are good with that, I will reach out to the commanders of those organizations and see if there's a family day sometime during the 23-24 academic year that we could do an event.
That'd be
That's
wonderful.
And
I think that's a
Jody,
great idea. Yeah, I was just thinking about, we have in Little Rock, I'll be at Pike next week, and a community salutes event with our reserve ambassadors for the state. I can also kind of put a bug in their ear that, you know, I mean, connecting with those families for several different resources in the school transition and anything that there's a need related to, you know, our military kiddos and families, that we would love to have an audience, or, you know, just really get some information their way.
Jody, I was at the community action team meeting here on base yesterday, and I talked to Katina about if there was anything over there that I could do for Month of the Military Child, or any family events coming up and stuff like that I could attend, because I'm just usually not invited to any of those, or I don't see where it's listed. I see Military One Source where Joanne posts a bunch of stuff, but I don't see any in-person things happening on the installation, like over at PEC. You know, PEC always has family days and has things like that, but not on the other side. And she kind of told me that they really don't have anything in person for family times.
And that's very true.
I was going to say, I think that goes back to what Andolyn just said. Unfortunately, we just do a really poor job. I know I was meeting with the 87th Troop Command, I think it was last week, and Andolyn, they're looking at setting up the second formation with all the families. Knows how soon that's going to roll out, but that might be a really great opportunity to always have like a piece of the forum during that second formation.
Well, I was going to say, is there anybody else that maybe I could reach out to connect with how to start, something, or
Do you think
is there any-
Nora Andelin?
Um,
That's even a little bit
I'll-
shaky.
I will have Terry, let me think on that, because what I believe to be the issue is not that there's a lack of care or concern for the families, but I think because command changes so frequently, like even our state family programs director, that position is a major or lieutenant colonel that changes every 2 years. So it's constant. By the time somebody new comes in, they recreate the program. There's no consistency across the board. So that's something I find I even struggle with. Like my daily duties is just tracking command and leadership changes and then recreating buy-in every time it happens. So I think that is the underlying issue, in my opinion. But I think if we connect, and between you, Jody, and I mean, there's enough connections there that we can get plugged in somewhere. And, ideally we say, this is the program we have, this is where we want to plug into, and not ask them, where can we go? Because with their op tempo leaders just on the Army side don't even have time to think about things like that. So, but I think we can absolutely make a connection if we put our heads together and work that issue.
Okay, because I mean, Katina comes to our community action team meetings and, does a great job. And, I'm so happy she comes to our side of it, but it's just trying to get it over there.
Yes.
So, and I did check the calendar over on military family readiness, and it's June 7th, actually, is our deployed family dinner.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it's usually 4:30 to 6:30.
I was just thinking about, I'll also be presenting Ingus next weekend, that I could absolutely share forum information. And that's our enlisted association conference. Andelin, are you going to that by chance?
I am not. I'm not important like you.
No, I was just thinking that might be a really great place to put out the survey for our enlisted families, because they're younger and they're coming from all over the state, and just have a couple, iPads with the surveys up as well. And I was just gonna say, speaking of Month of the Military Child, all of our Purple Up t-shirts are in. So if you guys know of like the Fort Smith Public School, anybody that wants to be a part of that give back for the military units through the t-shirt sales, just let me know and we can make those happen. We have some really cool designed ones this year. Anyway, I just wanted to put that plug out there. I was just thinking of it as far as the Fort Smith, and then Terry Cabot got a hold of me, and we have a meeting or scheduled Zoom, I believe, tomorrow afternoon about Purple Up t-shirts, that kind of stuff.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Are you guys feeling good about what we have planned and moving forward for 23 events?
If you guys can get me some of the details for the events at Fort Smith and the Air Force Base pretty quickly, I think I can probably get that commissioner's memo out by the end of the week.
Okay. I've actually drafted an email to send out to the committee just with the dates and times that we've talked about. So I'll send that when we're finished here. Okay. You guys have anything else for event business or discussion under new business? You feeling pretty good about it? Okay. Is there any public comment?
We have one member of the public present. Maybe we ought to open it up for Ms. Love to speak.
I only have one family in my district, and so it's two kids in elementary, and their dad is currently deployed, and so that's why they're in our district, is they have family here while dad is deployed. So mom and family is here, and he is in Air National Guard. So they seem to be, I mean, adjusting while he's came home once on leave, and they got to see him. But for the most part, they really don't talk about it. We did participate in holiday cards for the military challenge, but because we had that family, I did majority of the cards that we did. Every student, kindergarten through fourth grade, made a card. But the classrooms that those two students are in, we took their cards and put it in a special box and sent it directly to their dad and
that's very
his
cool.
unit. So they specifically got to make it for him, and then the rest of the school we sent it off with the challenge. And so
Oh, that's great.
I think that
That is awesome.
helped just to see that it wasn't just them that was doing it, like this is how it connects to you. But then in the grand scheme of things, there was a lot of kids who knew of military family members, but it wasn't immediate family. And so for the most part, they all connected. And I mean, we're a very, very small school. Sometimes we'll see because we're between Little Rock and Fort Smith, sometimes we'll see flyovers, and so that we get to talk about it then. But for the most part, we're kind of removed from it because for the most part, we don't have families.
There's no National Guard armory nearby, is there?
I think the closest one is probably about 45 minutes away, so not super close.
Terry, that kind of underscores what you and I were talking about yesterday with regard to Purple Star school districts.
I was trying to think of what would be closest to her, but I think it's still going to be camp.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, she's like right
Magazine
in
is the closest Purple Star school. I think, is it Magazine Purple Star?
They are.
And so you drive through Magazine to get to, I think it might be is the nearest one in Boonville or Fort Smith? But either way, that would be the closest that my students would be able to relate to. Little Rock is a very far off idea in their heads.
Yeah.
Oh, Russellville too. You guys are southwest of Russellville. The 206 is in Russellville and pretty active there at their armory. But yes, you're kind of out. You're kind of out where, there's not a lot. So
Guys, for some context, something that Terry and I were discussing yesterday, the awards committee is about to consider making a change to the requirements to become a Purple Star school and a Purple Star school district. And one of the issues that Terry and I were talking about was the idea that to become a Purple Star school district, then the district would need to choose some military installation, whether it is, Little Rock Air Force Base, National Guard Army, Army Reserve Center, recruiting office, whatever's closest by, and bring them into their family and community engagement program as a community partner. But as she and I were talking about that, it dawned on us that plenty of school districts in Arkansas aren't anywhere near any of those. And so like in the case of Danville, if Danville wanted to become a Purple Star school district and their nearest military activity is, 40 miles away, that's not very practical for them and it's not very fair for them. So we're kind of thinking maybe that ought to not be one of the requirements.
We do, and I don't know who he's with, but we do have a recruiter that comes to our high school fairly frequently. And in the fall, when we did back to school, they actually sponsored one of our staff lunches. So that would probably be the closest and the best connection that we currently have. But he was obviously building that relationship with us just because he is here for some of our high school students.
Yeah, there's definitely something in it for the recruiters when they come around there doing it. And of course, they've got the budget that they can travel the state and do that. They've got the budget that they can, sponsor events and that sort of thing, all with the intention of they want to look for promising juniors and seniors in high school that they might recruit when they graduate.
Well, Wendy, if there's anything we can do to assist you or that family, just say the word. We're here for you.
I was gonna say, do you have mine or Angelin or Jody's information that you can reach out to if the family needs anything?
I have, I think I have yours. Let me double check my notes from the first meeting. Okay, so I don't have contact information. I had just wrote names and bolded them in my notes, so.
I'm going to
What-
plug my email into the chat box really quick for you.
Angelin, can you put mine too? Because I'm on my phone. It's hard to
Sure.
add all that. Okay. Since I can't Zoom on the government computer.
Yeah, I use my phone as well. Let's see. It's terry.williams.4, correct?
Yes.
Miss Wendy, I just wanted to say too, I know Angelin's extension is Army, but she represents Air Guard as well. So if it's Air Guard questions, she 100% is equipped to handle those as well.
Thanks,
Perfect,
Jody.
thank you.
Okay, there. A couple emails in the chat box for you, Wendy.
And then Don, did you get Lincoln joined us as well?
No, ma'am, I did not. Mr. Daniels, welcome.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I don't have any questions. I just had this on my calendar, so I joined.
Well, thanks for joining.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
I hope it's been entertaining and informative.
Yes, definitely both.
Good.
Were you there for the discussion we had about margaritas?
I did pick up on some of that. Yes.
Leave
You're
it to
welcome
me.
to join us as well.
Okay, guys. For the sake of time, let's move on and see if we can secure a date for our next meeting. I am thinking, let's maybe try to visit late May. We'll knock out, Fort Smith Public School event and our Zoom event that we've scheduled for 5 May. And then if we can touch base leading up into the June event. That way we can make any, kind of take the data we have and make any adjustments we need to before the quarterly dinner at Little Rock Air Force Base. Gosh, you guys, I can't even, how is it April already? I
don't know where February and March went.
I am like, I was logging on today and I'm like, 5 April. How is that possible? But here we are. Okay, so May the 5th, and then the Wednesdays work pretty well for everyone.
I know Wednesdays are better for me. Tuesdays are out.
Yeah,
Thursdays
there's
are
Wednesdays work well.
usually
Okay.
pretty good for me.
do you guys want to try May the 10th? It's a Wednesday.
Handle, and I can do the 10th, but I won't be able to do it until the afternoon. Teaching an active shooter class that morning.
Oh, okay. Does the afternoon work, or we can move it to the 17th?
17th, I'm teaching first aid class all day.
Don, you just told me Wednesdays work for you.
Well, generally they do. Those two don't.
I'm good on the 10th in the afternoon.
Jody, does that work for you?
I actually will be in DC on the 10th, in a conference all day. I'm sorry, but
No, Are you
But
okay?
Wednesdays work for everybody, Angelin.
I know, right?
yeah,
You guys
I'm
just
like,
told me
dang it, the
Wednesdays
10th.
are good.
Don't want to, what about May 24th?
me switch.
I'm
here.
good.
24th. Yeah, that should work for me. I should be able to step out. Jody, that's the week of the shop classes I was telling you about.
Oh, yeah, yep. That day looks okay for me to step
Okay.
out, is like, just, so if we want to tentatively or just try to set it for the 24th, I think that would work well.
Yes, I think so too. 9 a.m., 10 a.m.
I
Either
have a
is-
9, so 10 would work better if it works for everybody else.
10
And
works.
it's fine.
10's good for me.
Just a
Okay,
quick question.
so-
Are we gonna like talk before Friday the 5th, or are we just gonna email back and forth before then?
You know, we could always pull together as a group discussion, just, to hash out details.
Sure.
Okay,
But I don't know that we have to have a formal meeting to do that.
no, we can just hash out some details, just so we know what's going on, and
Sounds good.
or just Zoom a few minutes before, whatever.
I'll send a follow-on email about that and we'll get something coordinated, Terry.
Okay,
So May 24th, 10 o'clock for the next formal meeting,
Yes.
right? Okay, I'll get a Zoom set up and send that out to everyone.
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, guys, if there is there any other discussion, questions, concerns? Okay, here,
Not for me.
is there a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
I second that. And Dawn, do you mind waiting for just a moment? I have a couple things I want to ask you.
Sure.
Mr. Daniels and Miss Love, thank you for joining us today. And guys, it was great catching up. And I look forward to our events.
Thank you,
Thanks,
ma'am.
Angela.
See you later.
You guys have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
So sorry, I'm driving. So I ended up I'm driving to Little Rock today. And we're having like it was a prompt meeting with the governor's chair. And so unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be on the meeting, but I would love Laura to be on and show, or potentially just listen and talk about the Purple Star community. I think she's got a couple drafts of that logo.
Are you talking the council meeting on the 11th?
I was thinking I had on under today at 1, we have the Purple Star community.
That's right. Okay, that's fine, Jody, sure. I mean, it's just a discussion group, and it would be great if she can show those drafts that she's got. Have you had a chance to look at the latest version of that working document?
You know what? I have not. I apologize. I
I
feel
think
like
it's
March
I think
was
it's
a
kind
blur.
of coming together. If we look at, we're going to call it Purple Star Community, but we've got to have slightly different criteria for if a city is doing it or if a county is doing it, but we can still call it Purple Star Community.
Love it.
But and I think we hashed out some of the deals about, what do we do with their school districts, charter schools, that sort of thing.
I love that. No, I will take a look at that. I apologize. I seen it come across and I was like, and then the meeting, I went, dang it. I actually really love that discussion group and where it's headed. So I hate that I'm missing it again. And I was like, Laura, can you get on? Because we have been talking and working with that and see what they talk about.
Since we're, still just kind of kicking this around, what I think we might want to try to do, Jody, is we may need 1 or 2 more meetings of the working group to kind of get it to where we want it to be. And then this may be something that we want to see about implementing in the new fiscal year. We might have this ready for the council to vote on at the July meeting. We haven't set the date for that yet, but the trend looks like everyone wants to meet on the first Thursday of odd numbered months.
Love that. Okay.
So, assuming that we're going to have a meeting in July, we probably want to have a strategic planning committee meeting sometime before then for the committee to vote formally on this is what we want to recommend to the council as the program. Present
I
that
love
to the
that.
council at its July meeting, and that can be one of our first things that we do for the 23-24 academic year.
I love that idea. So maybe we set a strategic plan after we do a couple more working group meetings. Then we re-engage the strategic planning committee the end of June.
Yeah, something like that.
That should leave us plenty of time then. Or you know what I mean, like the week of the 19th there, or the 26th of June. I like that idea.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Sweet. All right. I just wanted to let you know, I apologize. I was hoping to be able to make that meeting. But
No, it's
Secretary Penn thinks that we all need to come together quick before we meet with the governor's office to talk
I would
about
say he's
governor's challenge. So I was like,
I would say
okay.
he's probably right. I mean, it
Yeah.
would not be good to go into a meeting with the governor unprepared.
Right. And so he's like, I need all the team leads in here. And I'm like, ah, dang it. You know, I live in Northwest Arkansas, right? But all good, all good. Anyway, but it should be a good meeting. But I wanted to just apologize that I wasn't going to be able to be there. But I know Laura is going to just jump on and be part of the discussion if need be. I can send her, I think that link for the document is in. If not, I can forward her that just so she can read over and be up to speed.
Okay, I'll go ahead and I'll send it to her as well. I'll pull up
Oh,
that
you're
invitation
awesome.
and just
Thank you.
forward it to her. I think I've got her email address still.
It's the LH@camp-alliance-inc.org.
Okay, I'll get that sent right out to her.
Awesome. Thank you, Don. I appreciate it.
You are very welcome. You drive safely. The weather is getting pretty nasty out there.
I know. I was like, why does it have to be nasty too? So hopefully I just got an alert that you guys are underneath a tornado watch until I think, did it say 4?
Yeah, we've got a tornado watch until 4 o'clock. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning right now until 11:15.
Okay.
So-
Well, dang it.
Fun times there.
Well, and good times, good times. Well, I'm so glad that you guys were all safe in I just hate that it destroyed so much of Little Rock. It's terrible.
You know, worst case scenario was it coming right through the city like that.
Right. And I mean, that's scary. Scary, scary. And when I'm so thankful those kiddos weren't in the school.
I'm telling you.
Hmm. Well, awesome. All righty. Well, thank you much. And we will talk soon.
All right. You take care,
Thanks,
Jody.
Tom.
Seriously, be
Thank you.
careful driving.
I will do. All right. Bye.
Bye.